Welcome to In the Community with Tiffany Kay.
And we're back with another In the Community. I'm Tiffany Kay, and I'm very excited to talk about this next event that we have going on, which is the Rappahannock Regional Soapbox Derby. And I have Bob Denecke, the chairman, in here with me. Bob, how are you this morning?
I'm doing great. Thank you.
Awesome. We're excited to have you here because I know that this is a big tradition in the area. And I'm just moved here about 2 years ago, so it's all new to me. So first, I want to get into what is a soapbox derby?
So Soapbox Derby is a youth soapbox car racing program, which has been running in the United States since 1933, actually.
Oh, wow.
We have the World Championships and finals each year at Derby Downs in Akron, Ohio, and cars compete from actually all over the world. The cars are unpowered. They rely completely upon gravity to move. It's really quite a inspirational race with the kids. It's very engaging and challenging for them. Provides a lot of education for the science, technology, engineering, and math, because there's a lot that goes, into weight distribution of the cars and
right.
How to make them go faster. Talking about drag and things like that on the cars. So it's really great. Provides a lot of mentorship and competition. A lot of friendships are made throughout the years when people race, and it's really rooted with family and community, and creates champions both on and off the track.
Wow, that's amazing. And, it's cool because we were talking a little bit off air about how it can really bring a family together. You were talking about you did it with your daughters.
I did, yes. I have two daughters that both raced, for many years since they were 8. They're in college now, so they're not racing anymore.
Right.
I think they wish they were,
but
they're not racing anymore.
And that's probably such a great connective event for parents and kids to do together.
It is. It's really fun. I mean, you have to work together for it. The more they practice, the better they get. The more time they spend in the car,
right?
The better. I mean, dads kind of help, with tuning up the cars, but the racers have to be with them every step of the way. Learn how to build a car if you want to build it. Mm-hmm. We'll probably talk later about how to get cars and things like that.
Yes, we will. But I'm very excited to hear more about this. So let's keep going. What's the divisions within the Soapbox Derby?
Yeah, so we have 3 different divisions. The first division's a stock division, and that's usually for racers around 7 to 13 years old. They can accommodate racers up to about 5'3" and up to about 125 pounds. The cars themselves weigh about 70 pounds, but we bring them all up to about 200 pounds.
Oh, wow.
So they all basically weigh the same when they're racing to make everything fair. If you have a light racer and the car, like I said, weighs about 70 pounds, we bring it up to 200 by just adding weight in the car. So that's where some of that STEM comes into play, of where you put the weights to make the car go faster, depending on what the hill looks like. Stock cars are a lean forward type of car, where the racer gets in the car and they basically lean forward to steer. They are full-size cars that we talked about before.
Yes. They're not kind of what you were saying earlier, what you're thinking about soapbox in terms of, I don't know, smaller cars or kind of the Boy Scout races.
Yeah, like the Boy Scout Pinewood Derby, which is exciting. I did that when I was a kid too. But these are full-size cars that they race down in the cars. The second division, Super Stock, that's for when kids get a little bit bigger. They're for 9 to 18-year-olds. They can accommodate racers up to about 6 feet tall and 150 pounds, and those cars weigh about 73 pounds. We bring them up to 240 pounds, so it's a little bit heavier, a little bit faster. It is also a lean forward designed cars. And then the last division is the Masters division, is for racers 10 to 20 years old. It's driven by our more experienced drivers. Masters cars can accommodate a racer up to about 6 feet tall and 160 pounds. The cars weigh about 88 pounds or so, and we bring those up to 255 pounds with extra weight.
Oh, wow.
They are actually really cool. They are a lay-down car.
Oh.
So they actually lay down in the car, and which makes even smaller drivers very competitive. There's a helmet that they wear, and you can look through about a half-inch sight looking down, but they lay back in those cars, and
Oh, wow.
they're the fastest of the cars. So they're very fun to race. Both of my
Wow.
daughters race those cars towards the end.
I'm kind of jealous. I never knew about this or got to race those. It sounds like a fun time.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. And let me ask you this. How long has the Soapbox Derby been in the region?
So we've been in this region 26 years. This is our 26th race. We had our 25th anniversary last year. We raced for many years in the city of Fredericksburg, and then Spotsylvania County took us on, and now Stafford County we're racing this year. Actually, we raced there last year also. So we are the Rappahannock Regional Soapbox Derby, so we like that we get to move to different racetracks.
Yeah.
It gives people that have raced for years more of a challenge, so they have to get used to the new track, maybe new people, accommodate and practice on those tracks. And,
It seems like it's definitely adds another level to this entire thing because you're not going to be used to your home field, as
That's
we
right.
like to say in
Yeah,
sports.
it kind of takes you, after racing on the same hill for many years, it kind of takes you maybe that home field advantage out a little bit, and gives people a chance in what's called the local race program.
Okay. Let's get back into a little bit of the minutia of Soapbox Derby. I need to know what keeps it fair.
So we do a lot of inspecting of the cars beforehand. We have clinics, and then we have an inspection and impound a couple weeks before, and where we actually impound the cars. But even during the race, in our particular race, we have 2 lanes where we race, and each racer gets to race in each lane. So they go to the top of the hill for the first time. You actually change wheels with your opponent.
Oh.
And then you race down. And we do what's called differential in time. So if you race down to the bottom, and I'll give some larger numbers, you race down to the bottom in one lane and you happen to win by half a second.
Okay.
You then go back to the top of the hill, you switch lanes, you get your wheels back, and you race again. And say your opponent wins this race by 0.6 seconds. Well, overall, they won by 0.1 second, so they win the race because it's differential in time over those 2 races. Now, I will tell you that those numbers I'm giving you are large numbers.
Okay.
It comes down to thousandths of a second in inches when we're racing.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, my one daughters had to race against each other, and the differential at the end was 0.007.
Really?
Yep, but there are many races that come down to, 0.001 of a second at the end, the differential. So it's very close racing.
Close calls.
So all that, staying down and the drag on the car and where the driver's positioned all plays a big factor. The dads can help tune those cars up the best they can.
Right.
But the more practice the racer has, the more comfortable they're in the car, the better they race.
And a lot of pressure, I feel like, and stress when you hear it comes down to those little things,
It does, but it's amazing that while they're calculating that, I've seen very good sportsmanship. All our racers seem to pop out of the cars. They're congratulating the folks that they race against. Even at the World Championships in Akron, they do that before they even know who won on the differentials. But yeah, it does come down to, I wouldn't say there's a lot of pressure on the kids. They seem to have a fun time with it. I mean, they know how it works. Are the stars aligned that day?
Yes.
Things like that. So
yeah.
It's a lot of fun.
I love hearing that, especially because it sounds like it's a community within the Soapbox Derby.
It is. They are. I mean, there is. I mentioned the local race program. That's what we do here. There is a rally race program also. So there's 2 ways to get to Akron. You can win your local race, or you can rally race. And we have a racer that went to Akron last year on rally racing that races in Stafford County.
Oh, wow.
So he got enough points to go last year as a rally champion. So we had 4 racers last year at the World Championships. So,
that's amazing.
Yeah, and they race all over the country. You can do as many rally races as you want, and that becomes a real family event of traveling.
Wow.
All over doing that.
I love hearing that. And if you're, whoever's listening right now is like me and now very much interested in it, the next question would, of course, be, well, how do you get a race car?
Yeah, well, we have a lot of cars. We were actually we were the largest race in the country next to Akron.
Oh, wow.
Quite a few years ago. And we have a lot of cars in the community that are still available, that are sponsored cars.
Oh, wow.
Our race director, I'll give out his name. His name is Alvin Staples. He's been with us for many years. His children all raced in the race. He's been our race director, helped hold us together. He's fantastic. He knows all the cars in the area.
Wow.
So we have clinics that if you send a email to us, we can get you hooked up with a car.
Okay.
And depending on which division,
Right.
that you want, a stock car, super stock, or master's car, we can get you hooked up with a car. You can also build a car.
Okay.
You can order the car. The cars come in kits from the All-American Soapbox Derby in Akron. So if you're really inspired, if you're really into it, you can build your own car, and we'll help with that.
I was just going to ask, how do they learn how to build their own car?
There are plans that are online, but in these clinics, that's one thing I've noticed that we've been racing. Like I said, my girls are in college now, but they were racing since they were 8. Everyone is very friendly. They give out information. They'll help you build the car,
Wow.
give you hints to how to build it, especially our race director, Alvin. He's very, very knowledgeable on how to build cars. And our past president, Keith Burgess, is also very, very knowledgeable, been to Akron, many times.
Wow.
We have a lot of people in the community. Don, whose son went to Akron last year as the rally champ. He's very knowledgeable. I can certainly help, but we have a lot of guys that work on cars.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's great.
It's such a great community. And you said this is happening at the clinic, correct?
Happens at the clinics. We hold that at the clinics. Our next clinic's April 16th at the Elks Lodge, 875. And that information, we have a family.
No, you're fine.
Facebook page.
Yes.
Where we have all the information. It's under Rappahannock Regional Soapbox Derby.
Okay.
And we put the dates for all those clinics and things like that, and registration information on that Facebook page.
Oh, that's awesome. And you said that's where you can come learn about how to build one, or even just come look at the cars that there are out there.
And when they pick up the car at a clinic, we also put the racer in the car to make sure like the brake pedal's in the right position. If they're not, they will help you move the brake position. They make sure that the cars are safe. That's our biggest thing, is we want to make sure that the cars are safe to race. Sometimes the cars might not race for a couple years, so they come out of the barn, we call it, out of people's basements. We make sure that they're in good shape, that everything is still tight on the cars. They've got good brake pads,
right?
That they're safe to race, that they're adjusted for the racer,
depending
on what their size are. So we can do all that work at the clinic.
And I have to say, you actually showed me a few pictures of Soapbox Derby cars, and the personalization that people add to them are just so much fun to look at, I'm sure, to create together.
It is. The cars are just beautiful cars. I showed you a picture of at the impounded inspection last year, where we had, I think, 60 plus cars, all impounded. And it's really quite amazing. It was at a building that one of our sponsors, Brandon Built Motorsports, who is actually races big cars.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Up in Stafford, lets us use his facility to hold the cars for impound. And they're just beautiful. The different colors they have of the cars. It's one of my favorite things when I go to Akron, looking at the hundreds of cars that come from all over the country and actually all over the world. Both the local cars and the rally race cars. They're just beautiful. The workmanship that they put in the cars is just fantastic.
It's a sight to see. It's definitely like a piece of art you're looking at.
It is. Some of the cars, the paint work that they do on them and the graphics that they do are just absolutely fantastic. They're just beautiful.
If you haven't seen them before, at least right now you can go ahead and Google pictures of it, because it's just such a cool image, or see it on, of course, your Facebook page with the Rappahannock Regional Soapbox Derby. But you had mentioned something then about the inspection and impound lot. So what exactly happens at that final inspection and impound lot?
So after most of the cars go through clinics at the inspection impound, we again put it through. We repair any cars. We do the final sign-ups, any paperwork that needs to be done. We take their pictures as a race program. The racers go in with their car. We fix anything that might need to be fixed, because hopefully after clinics they've gone out and practiced. Maybe a brake pad needs to be changed or something like that. We make sure that the car is safe. It then goes through a final inspection with our more experienced folks that look at the cars. We swap wheels during that clinic, and then they go into impound. But basically, it's like a final safety check of the cars at impound. It's that last good look to make sure everything's good with the car. And if people have any questions, we can fix it.
I love how you all are focused on safety first, of course, with that, because it can be a dangerous activity to be a part of.
They get going pretty good down the hill, but we make arrangements for that. I mean, we have cones. We always tell the drivers, if anything happens when they're racing, to hit the brake and to stop. If you say, like in a master's car, say your helmet slips down and all of a sudden you can't see, or something happens, or I don't know, anything.
Anything can happen.
You get a piece of grit in your eye when they're racing. And we always tell our racers to stop. And if they tell the race director, Mr. Staples, hey, I stopped because I couldn't see, we try to be as fair as possible. They're going to let them rerun that race,
awesome.
Especially if there's anything safety. It's better to stop during the race and not hit something or hurt your car or hurt the other driver or weave into the other lane than it is to continue on. So we always tell our drivers to just stop and say, hey, a bug flew in my eye.
Right.
and we'll let them run that race again, especially when safety's involved.
Yes. That's a great lesson for anybody in life in general. Make sure safety is first. Now, if people are looking to get part of the Soapbox Derby, how would they register for the race?
That we do have I think it's an IR, it's a code that they shoot on the Facebook page. That they can register, or they can come to a clinic and we'll help you do that.
Oh, awesome. Is there a cost associated with it?
There is. It's actually very reasonable. It's $55 to register. We do have some extra helmets. I think the helmets this year are running about $22, but we keep that cost. I think that's very low. And the racer gets lunch. That's provided by Servings of Hope.
Well, you have me involved already. You said food.
Yeah, food. It's really great. They did a great barbecue lunch last year. We have ice cream that the racers get. They get a goodie bag. They get a T-shirt.
Oh wow! Okay.
And they get to race. We do that by a lot of sponsors. Stafford County has been a great help this year and last year. The Stafford County Tourism Office, Sheehy Oldsmobile Subaru has been a huge sponsor of us. Golden Coin Amusements, Simventions this year is back with us. They're up in Stafford County, so that's great. John Fick. And my mother-in-law actually sponsors Cincinnati and to sponsor, so she helps us. And we do fundraisers. We're doing kind of a Krispy Kreme donut sales, anything to raise money. And we do have, I showed you some pictures of the adult races.
Yes.
During race, when there's a lull in racing, we have some oil can cars, they're called, that we put the adults in, and they challenge each other, and they get to race down the hill. Sometimes we get the police chief and fire chiefs involved, or anything that we can, or somebody from Stafford County.
I'm sure that's a competition.
Yeah, that's a big competition. And they have fun.
That's awesome.
That's another fundraiser that we have. But yeah, it's those donors. My wife Sherry is actually our fundraising chairman. Not an easy job.
Oh, I bet not.
We're always looking for additional sponsors. Again, we appreciate your sponsorship, getting the word out.
Of course.
We really appreciate that. The Elks Lodge, like I mentioned earlier, for putting us up. Brandon Built Motorsports for letting us use their facility for our inspection and impound. That's always a big one, finding some place where we can store the cars for a couple weeks. Pepsi provides our drink. So our sponsors are just, fantastic.
And you can't do it without them or the community.
You can't do it without sponsors and volunteers.
Yes.
So we're an all-volunteer board. I mentioned, the Rappahannock Regional Soapbox Derby is a 501c3, so we're approved for donations. Our board of directors that we started a few years ago, my wife Sherry I mentioned, and Don and Tiffany, Nathan, Keith Burgess I mentioned earlier, past president, Michelle Staples, who's attached to our race director. She's been a great help. She's kind of our tour guide when they go to Akron, Ohio. Mark DiPaolo and Charles and Lloyd, all of our board members. Hopefully I'm not forgetting anybody. and all the volunteers on race day. Parents, help out on race day. We've got folks that help us tow cars up to the top, that help us load cars, football teams and things like that come out. The Boy Scouts come out. So we mentioned it's a community event.
Yeah.
Without the community and the volunteers, we can't make it happen.
I love the fact that it's a community event because it really brings people together for something fun. And as you said, you can't do it without the volunteers and the sponsors. So if there are people out there who would like to volunteer or sponsor on race day or, throughout the year, where can they reach out to you about questions, or maybe they want to figure out how they can do that?
It is our Facebook page is probably the best. You can, get there. We also have an email address. It's info at rrsbd.org. It's basically info at Rappahannock Regional Soapbox Derby.org. So it's rrsbd. It's just the initials .org.
Oh, perfect.
We can answer questions there.
Okay.
For you, and that's another way to get in touch with us to get a car.
Okay.
If you want one, or any questions that you might have.
Oh, awesome. Well, I have to ask you this kind of off the normal questions. What are you looking forward to this year for the Soapbox Derby?
That the kids have fun.
Yeah.
I actually, believe it or not, it's kind of fun. For my job, I travel a lot. I've actually missed the last couple of races. I work doing all this volunteering. I even missed when my daughters won. I was on the road traveling. So I'm looking forward to being here this year. I'm going to try my best.
Right.
Especially since I've kind of taken the helm, I guess, to try to actually be at the race this year. And see what goes on, because it's just a beautiful sight when the track is set up with the cones and all the excitement that goes on and the announcements that go on.
Yeah.
And just seeing the excitement of all our racers and parents.
Sounds like such a fun time.
It is really fun.
Yeah.
And if you're not racing, come out to watch.
I was about to say, we got to get that information out there. So when is this year's race, and where exactly is it being held at?
So this year's race is June 10th. We have a rain date of June 11th. So June 10th is a Saturday.
Okay.
We start about 9 a.m. We are at the Rocky Run Elementary School.
Oh, okay.
In Stafford.
Yeah, I know that area very well.
It's actually at 95 Reservoir Road, Stafford, Virginia. It's a great hill.
Okay.
When we were in Spotsylvania, we were at the Dominion Racetrack. It was a great hill too. Spotsylvania, helped us out. But Stafford, this is a really great hill at Rocky Run Elementary School. It's got a great path to returning the cars. It's just the perfect setup for Soapbox Derby racing.
Well, it sounds like it's going to be a wonderful day.
Yeah, it is a great day. We're hoping keep our fingers crossed for good weather.
Oh, fingers crossed. Yeah, definitely. Now, June, it should be a little bit better.
Yeah, it's usually, I must admit, somehow it always occurs. It's like the hottest day of the year.
Of course.
Of course, but we have lots of water available and things. There's a lot of shade there at Rocky Run Elementary also, so it's very good. We bring in tents. We line the racetrack with tents that people set up and cheer on the racers all day.
Perfect family fun day.
Yep, it's family fun.
That's awesome. Well, Bob, thank you so much for joining me today. I do hope you get to go this year.
I do. I
really hope so. I'm keeping my fingers crossed for you.
Thank you.
And for anybody who wants to get involved in this, as you said, you can go to the Facebook page. Rappahannock Regional Soapbox Derby is the easiest way to get a hold of you all. And good luck to all the racers this year. I'm sure it's going to be such a fun time.
It's going to be great.
And that'll do it for In the Community this week. If you are a nonprofit and need to bring attention to your cause or organization, please reach out through this station's website. And we will see you next week.